We'll discuss today a very important topic in macroeconomics, that is deficit, debt, and debt GDP ratio. And these three concepts come under when you analyze what fiscal policy for an economy. And in particular, we'll discuss arithmetics of deficit and debt, current and future taxes, debt stabilization, and debt to GDP ratio. So first, let us distinguish between what is a deficit and what is a debt. Deficit is a flow, how much the government borrows during a given year. Suppose during the period from January 2021 to December 2021, the government of India borrows 100 crores of rupees, then that is termed as what deficit. Whereas debt is a stock, what the government owes as a result of past deficits. In the case of deficit, we do not take into consideration the accumulated debt. We just take into consideration what is the borrowing of the government during the particular year. Whereas in debt, we say by the 2021 January, what the government owes as a result of past deficit. Over the years, what is the accumulated deficit, and that comes as what the debt. Current year's borrowing is deficit, whereas the accumulated past deficits is called the debt. Suppose, starting from a balanced budget, the government decreases taxes, creating a budget deficit. So, we have a particular model where we start from a balanced budget. What is balanced budget? Balanced budget is a situation where government expenditure is equal to taxes that is mobilized. That is, if the government incurs expenditure of 100 rupees, that is made by taxes, made out of taxes of 100 rupees. And then in such a situation, the government decreases taxes. So 100 rupees of government expenditure and 100 rupees of taxes, the government reduces taxes by 50 rupees. It means to meet this 100 rupees of expenditure, the government has to make a borrowing of what? 50 rupees. So the budget deficit of rupees 50 is created. Now, then what will happen to the debt over time? Will the government need to increase taxes later? If so, by how much? To answer these questions, we begin with a definition of budget deficit. So, the budget deficit in year T can be written as deficit in year T is equal to RBT minus 1 plus GT minus TT. So, this year's deficit 2021 January to 2021 December deficit is equal to the government has to pay interest rate on the debt that it has accumulated over the years. Please do understand that every year the government has to pay a rate of interest on the debt that is accumulated at the beginning of the year. So the debt that is accumulated at the beginning of the year is denoted as BT minus 1. And suppose it is 100 crores of rupees, then the government has to pay interest rate. Suppose interest is 10%, then 10% of 100 crores of rupees must be paid this year. So the government needs to borrow for that, plus what? GT minus TT. That is in the current year, what is the situation? Government expenditure minus taxes. So that also adds to, if the government expenditure is greater than taxes, that also adds to the deficit of the government, and all variables are in real terms. So BT minus 1 is the government debt at the end of year T minus 1, or equivalently at the beginning of year T. R is the real interest rate, which we shall assume to be constant here. Thus RBT minus 1 equals the real interest rate payments on the government debt in year T. GT is the government spending on goods and services during year T. T is the taxes during year T. The budget deficit equals spending including interest payments on debt minus what? Taxes. So total spending is what? GT, and RBT minus 1. GT is the government expenditure, RBT minus 1 is the interest rate spending minus, and then this total spending minus taxes will give you the deficit. And here, please understand that interest payments are measured in terms of, in real terms, that is the product of real interest rate times existing debt. And official measures of deficit, however, use nominal interest payments and are therefore incorrect, because when there is inflation, these results can be seriously misleading. And when we take real interest rate, then this measure of deficit is termed as inflation adjusted deficit. Now, the government budget constraint states that the change in government debt during the year T is equal to the deficit during year T. Okay, as I said earlier, from 2021 January to 2021 December, the government has incurred upon a borrowing of 200 crores. Okay, and in the year beginning, the government starts in 2021 January becomes joint government starts with an accumulated debt of 500 crores, and the deficit that is created during the current year is 200 crores, so that at the end beginning of year 2022 the total debt becomes 500 crores plus 200 crores, that is 700 crores. So BT is what, if you are taking 2022, BT is 200 crores and BT is 700 crores and BT minus 1 is 500 crores. So change in the debt during the current and the previous year is equal to deficit. If the government runs a deficit, what happens? Government debt will increase. So 200 crores has added toward the total debt of the government. If the government runs a surplus, government debt decreases. So using the definition of deficit that we have used in equation 1, we can rewrite the government budget constraint as BT minus 1 is what? The change in government debt or the deficit, which is equal to deficit. We have already written this formula RBT minus 1, which is the interest rate that we have to pay during for what? The accumulated debt, plus what? The current, the primary deficit GT minus TT. The government budget constraint links the change in government debt to the initial level of debt. So BT minus BT1 is the change in government debt. RBT minus 1 is the initial level of debt and to the current government spending and taxes. So it means that the government budget constraint or deficit is split into two. One is the interest payment on the debt, that is RBT minus 1, and secondly the difference between spending and taxes, that is GT minus TT. This term is called the primary deficit. Current government expenditure minus current taxes is termed the primary deficit. Equivalently, TT minus GT is called the primary surplus. So using this decomposition, we can rewrite equation 2 as, so change in debt will be equal to what? The addition to the debt will be equal to interest payment that has to be paid on the previous debt plus the primary deficit, this year's deficit that is created. So BT minus 1 is equal to RBT minus 1 plus GT minus TT. Now we make some adjustment in the equation. We take BT minus 1 toward to the right hand side, so that it becomes BT is equal to BT minus 1 plus RBT minus 1 plus GT minus TT, or BT is equal to, so we can take BT minus 1 outside. So 1 plus R into BT minus 1 plus GT minus TT. So this relation states that debt at the end of year T is equal to 1 plus R times the debt at the end of year T minus 1 plus the primary deficit during year T, that is GT minus TT. So debt in the current year will be equal to what? Debt in the previous period BT minus 1 plus what? The interest rate that we have to charge on, that is charged on the previous debt, RBT minus 1 plus what? The current deficit that is created, GT minus TT. What are the implications? So current versus future taxes. Consider first a 1-year decrease in taxes for the path of debt and future taxes. Start from a situation where until year 1 the government has balanced its budget so that initial debt is equal to 0. During year 1 the government decreases taxes by X, think $1 billion for example for 1 year. So we initially start with a situation of balanced budget, expenditure is equal to taxes, and then during year 1 suppose the government decreases taxes by X, maybe 1 million or 1 crore. So it means the government has a primary deficit of X in the current year, which becomes the debt in the beginning of the next year. Thus the debt at the end of year 1, B1 is equal to X. Okay, the question is what happens thereafter. There are many options. So the government comes into the current year, the next year with what? Accumulated debt of X, B1. And suppose the government decides to fully repay the debt during the year 2. Suppose the government thinks that it will fully repay the debt during year 2. From equation 3, the budget constraint for year 2 is given by B2 is equal to 1 plus R into B1 plus G2 minus T2. It's clear. B2 is what? The debt in the second year will be equal to 1 plus R into B1. That is B1 plus R B1. B1 is what? The debt on the previous year plus R into B1, the interest rate that has to be paid for the accumulated debt, plus what? If in the current year there is some deficit, that also adds to what? B2. Now, we assume that the debt is going to be fully repaid during year 2. Then the debt at the end of year 2 is equal to 0. So, if it is going to be completely repaid, B2 is equal to 0. So, replacing B1 by X. B1 is what? The accumulated deficit or debt during the previous year. So, it was X, and B2 by 0, and transposing terms will give. So, second, the government decides to fully repay the debt during year 2, so that B2 becomes 0, which is equal to 1 plus R into B1 is what? X. Okay, plus G2 minus T2. So now you just rearrange the equation. T2 minus G2 is equal to 1 plus R into X. Oh, that is equal to 1 plus R into X. It means if the government decides to fully repay during year 2, the government must run a surplus. T2 minus G2 is the surplus. Out of this surplus, the government can repay its debt. And what is the amount of surplus? The amount of surplus must be able to repay the accumulated debt, that is X, plus what? The rate of interest on X Rx, which is given by 1 plus R into X. So if the government wants to repay the whole amount in the second period, then the taxes or T2 minus G2 must be greater than the government expenditure by what? 1 plus R into X. So it can do this in two ways: decrease in spending or increase in taxes. So spending we take as constant. It's all the rest of the section adjustment comes through taxes. So it follows that decrease in taxes by X during year 1 must be offset by an increase in taxes by 1 plus R into X in year 2. If the debt is fully repaid during year 2, the decrease in tax of X in year 1 increases taxes to an equivalent amount of 1 plus R into X in year 2. So now this repayment can happen in 3 years, 4 years. In general, we say suppose the repayment happens in year T. The government decides to wait until year T to repay the debt. Okay, so it means in year 2021, X is the debt that is what accumulated. Year 2021, there is no debt, new deficit is created, but this X plus what? Our rate of interest into X must be will be the accumulated one in the next year. The government doesn't the government is not willing to repay it in the second year, but in the second year, X plus R into X will be the additional debt that is created. Third year, it will have X plus R, X will be there, Rx will be there, and what? The interest rate that is charged on what? X plus Rx into R will also be there. So the equations are given below. Government decides to wait until year T to repay the debt. So from year 2 to year T minus 1, the primary deficit is equal to 0. So for the current or each period under consideration, the current expenditure is met by current payment, but current taxes, but not what? The interest payment on debts. That is, the interest payment on debt is not paid during a current year, but other expenses of the government is met by the taxes. So during year 2, the primary deficit is 0, that is GT minus TT is 0. And so from equation 3, the debt at the end of year 2, as I said earlier, debt at the end of year 2 will be equal to 1 plus R into B1. The GT minus TT component is 0. So in B2, the government will have to pay B1 plus what? R into B1. And this B1 we have treated as X. So with the primary deficit still equal to 0 during year 3, what happens at the end of year 3? End of year 3 will be B3 is equal to B2 plus what? B2 into the interest rate that is charged on B2, that is 1 plus R into B2 plus that 0, that is GT primary deficit is 0, which is equal to 1 plus R into B2 is again what? 1 plus R into X. So we can write it's 1 plus r squared into x. So this goes on, and at the end of year t minus 1, we can write bt minus 1 will be equal to 1 plus r into t minus 2 into the initial what deficit that is charged. That is, at the end of year t minus 1, the debt that is accumulated is x, then the interest rate that is charged for 1, 2, 3, etc. up to t minus 2. And despite the fact that taxes are cut only in year one, debt keeps increasing over time. Why? Because the government has to pay an interest rate. The reason is simple. Although primary deficit is equal to zero, debt is now positive, and so are interest payments on the debt. Each year, the government must issue more debt to pay the interest on the existing debt. In year T, the year in which the government decides to repay the debt, the budget constraint is. So in the end of the 10th year, the government decides to pay what the whole debt. So in that year, the equation is BT is equal to 1 plus R into BT minus 1. That is interest payment on the accumulated debt plus what? GT minus TT. If debt is fully repaid during year T, then BT is 0. And if at the end of year T, the government decides to fully repay the debt, then BT must be equal to 0. Then we can write the equation as 0 is equal to 1 plus R into 1 BT minus 1 was what we have written, 1 plus R into T minus 2 into X. So that is accumulated debt in the previous year. So up to that period, what is the interest rate? 1 plus R into T minus 2 into what? The initial deficit, that is X. So 0 must be equal to 1 plus R into 1 plus R into T minus 2 X plus GT minus TT. So reorganizing and bringing GT minus TT to the left hand side of the equation. So we can take what TT minus GT to the left hand side of the equation. Then it becomes what? 1 plus TT minus GT is equal to 1 plus R into 1 plus R into T minus 2. So 1 plus R gets cancelled. It becomes 1 plus R into T minus 1 into X. That is, TT minus GT will be the government surplus that is to be generated, the primary surplus that is to be generated in year T. Taxes in year T minus government expenditure in year T must give you a surplus to repay the debt, and that surplus must be equal to 1 plus R into T minus 1 into X. X is the initial debt that is created, and 1 plus R into T minus 1 will be the interest rate that is accumulated over the years. If the adjustment is done through taxes, the initial decrease in taxes of 1 or taxes of X during year 1 leads to an increase in taxes of 1 plus R into T minus 1 during year T. So when there is a reduction in taxes of X units during year 1, it will lead to an increase in taxes of 1 plus R into T minus 1 into X during year T. Okay, and this example yields our first set of conclusion. If government spending is unchanged, a decrease in taxes but eventually be offset by an increase in taxes in the future. So if there is a decrease in taxes in a year, then this will be offset by an increase in taxes in the future. The longer the government waits to increase taxes, or the higher the real interest rate is, the higher the eventual increase in taxes must be. The longer the government waits to increase taxes, then that's as the time period increases to increase the taxes, then the higher the eventual increase in taxes must be, because we have seen that it becomes 1 plus R into T minus 1 over the years 1, 2, 3, etc. The rate of interest is getting accumulated. And suppose let's come to the concept of debt stabilization in year T. We have assumed so far that government fully repays the debt. Now let us look at what happens to taxes if government only stabilizes the debt. So first case was government fully repaying the debt. Now we are dealing with stabilizing the debt. Stabilizing the debt means changing taxes or spending so that debt remains constant from then on. So at a point where when the government stabilizes the debt, it means changing taxes or spending so that debt remains constant from then on. Suppose the government decides to stabilize the debt from year 2 on. Stabilizing the debt from year 2 on means that the debt at the end of year 2 and thereafter remains the same level as it was at the end of year 1. So there will be a fixed debt for the government for the years, that is stabilizing the debt. Let us look into the equation. The budget constraint, B2 is equal to 1 plus R into B1 plus G2 minus T2. 1 plus R into B1 is what the interest payment on the accumulated debt, plus what G2 minus T2 is the current the primary deficit. Under our assumption that debt is stabilized in year 2, if debt is stabilized in year 2, it means that the debt in year 2 must be equal to debt in year 1. So there is a mistake there. B2 is equal to B1 is equal to X. Setting B2 is equal to B1 is equal to X in the preceding equation equals. So the debt at year 2 must be equal to debt at year 1. Debt at year 1 was X. So this can be written as, instead of B2 we can write X. X is equal to 1 plus R into X plus G2 minus T2. So debt at end of year 1 B1 is X, year 2 is also X. So X is equal to 1 plus R into X plus G2 minus T2. Reorganizing and bringing G2 minus T2 to the left side of the equation, we get T2 minus G2. Some primary surplus must be created there, which is equal to 1 plus R into X minus X. So 1 plus R into X minus X means X plus Rx minus X. So X and minus X gets cancelled, you get Rx. So if the government has to stabilize the debt, that is, the government has to keep the debt constant, then in the second year there should be a primary surplus of Rx. And what is Rx? X is what the debt that is accumulated. Rs is what the interest rate that is going to be that is to be paid on what X. So the government must be able to mobilize what the interest rate that is to be paid on the debt if debt has to remain constant or stabilized. To avoid a further increase in debt during year 1, the government must run a primary surplus equal to real interest payments on the existing debt. It must do so in each of the following years as well. Each year, the primary surplus must be sufficient to cover interest payments, leaving the debt level unchanged. Debt remains equal to 1 from year 1 onwards. Taxes are permanently higher from year 1 on by an amount equal to R. Equivalently, from year 1 on, the government runs as primary surplus equal to, it's R. It's not R. The rate is R into X. So the government runs a primary surplus equal to R into X. The logic of this argument extends directly to the case where the government waits until year T to stabilize the debt. Whenever the government stabilizes, it must from then on run a primary surplus sufficient to pay the interest on debt. So the legacy of past deficits is higher government debt. To stabilize the debt, the government must eliminate deficit. That is, to stabilize the debt every year, if the government has to keep debt constant, the government must eliminate what deficit. That is, government must be able to generate some surplus which can meet what the interest rate on the accumulated debt. To eliminate the deficit, the government must run a primary surplus equal to the interest payments on the existing debt. This requires higher taxes forever. Okay. And then the last third concept is debt to GDP ratio. So we have focused on the evolution of the level of debt. But in an economy in which output grows over time, it makes more sense to focus instead on the ratio of debt to output. So we were discussing on debt, and now we will focus on debt to GDP ratio. We need to go from equation 3 to an equation that gives the evolution of the debt to GDP ratio, the debt ratio for short. Deriving the evolution of debt ratio takes few steps. So we were dealing with the debt alone. Now we will look into the debt GDP ratio. So debt was B2. Now we want debt GDP ratio. So we can divide the debt equation by what? GDP YT. So earlier we had BT is equal to 1 plus R into BT minus 1 plus GT minus TT. Now we have to divide it by YT. We get BT by YT is equal to 1 plus R into BT minus 1 by YT plus GT minus TT by YT. Now all the variables are divided by GDPYT. Now rewrite the second equation. We have the second part of the equation, that is on the right hand side. The first term is 1 plus R into BT minus 1 by YT. Now that is rewritten as BT minus 1 by YT is rewritten as BT minus 1 by YT minus 1 into YT minus 1 by YT. So what happens is YT minus 1 and YT minus 1 gets cancelled. We have BT minus 1 by YT. It's just for some more mathematical manipulation that we did it. Or other words, we can say multiply the numerator and denominator by YT minus 1. The value doesn't change. So we can write the equation as BT by YT is equal to 1 plus R into YT minus 1 by YT into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1. So we are just rewriting those things, that is YT minus 1 and YT and BT minus 1 by YT minus 1. So if you look into the equation, you will understand that both the given earlier equation and this equation, the values are same, plus GT minus TT by YT. Note that all terms in the equation are now in terms of ratios to output. Now, to simplify this, we have an assumption that output growth is constant and we denote the growth rate of output by G. YT minus 1 by YT can be written as 1 by 1 plus G. It's a growth rate of output. So, we write it as what? 1 by 1 plus G. And we have 1 plus R by 1 plus G. 1 plus R into YT minus 1 by YT becomes 1 plus R into 1 by 1 plus G. So it becomes 1 plus R by 1 plus G. That is again approximated as 1 plus R minus G, because G comes in the denominator. This is approximated as 1 plus R minus G. Using these two assumptions, the equation was BT by YT is equal to 1 plus R into YT minus 1 by YT into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1 plus GT minus TT divided by YT. This can be rewritten as BT minus YT is equal to the term 1 plus R into YT minus 1 by YT is written as 1 plus R minus G into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1 plus GT minus TT by YT. Finally, we reorganize to get beta by YT is equal to beta 1 into beta by YT plus R minus G into beta minus 1 by YT minus 1. So we take 1 plus R minus G into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1. 1 into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1 plus R minus G into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1, which is plus what? GT minus TT divided by YT. Or this can be again written as BT minus YT minus the term is taken to the left hand side, minus BT minus 1 by YT minus 1 is equal to R minus G into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1 plus GT minus TT by YT. And this took many steps, but the final relation has a simple interpretation. What is that? BT by YT minus BT minus 1 by YT minus 1. BT minus YT is the budget deficit to GDP in the current year. BT minus 1 minus YT minus 1 is the budget, it's not the budget deficit, budget debt. The debt during, it's not budget debt, it's the debt during the previous year. Debt to GDP ratio during the current year minus debt to GDP ratio to the previous year. That is change in debt ratio over the time. So over time, change in debt ratio over time is given in the left hand side, that is equal to R minus G into BT minus 1 by YT minus 1. That is, the first term is the difference between real interest rate and the growth rate times the initial debt ratio. R is real interest rate minus what is G? The growth rate of output into what? The initial debt ratio. And the second is definitely the ratio of what? Primary deficit to GDP. So it means the change in debt ratio over time is equal to the difference between the real interest rate and the growth rate times the initial debt ratio plus what this ratio of primary deficit to GDP. So when you compare this equation, which gives the evolution of ratio of debt to GDP, to equation 2, which gives the evolution of level of debt itself, the difference is only the presence of R minus G in the equation compared to R in equation 2. The reason for the difference is simple. Suppose the primary deficit is 0. So in this case, the last term becomes 0. GT minus TT by YT is equal to 0. Debt will then increase at a rate equal to the interest rate R. But if GDP is growing as well, the ratio of debt to GDP will grow more slowly. It will grow at a rate equal to the real interest rate minus the growth rate of output R minus D. So when there is growth rate that is happening in the economy, positive growth rate in that's happening in the economy, the ratio of debt to GDP will grow more slowly. It will grow at a rate. Earlier, it was growing at a rate of real interest rate times what the debt that is accumulated. But here, it will grow what the ratio of debt will grow only at the rate of R minus G. It means that increase in ratio of debt to GDP will be larger. The higher the real interest rate, yeah, we will have to pay more servicing debt payment must be done. The lower the growth rate of output also, then the ratio of GDP to debt will be higher. The higher the initial debt ratio, the higher the ratio of primary deficit to GDP. That is um, the increase in debt to GDP ratio, this BT minus Y divided by YT minus BT minus 1 by YT minus 1, this ratio, this debt GDP ratio will be greater when R is higher, when G is lower, and when BT minus 1 by YT minus 1 is also higher. Also, we think look into the fourth term, that is GT minus TT, which is the higher the ratio of the primary debt to GDP. Okay, so when R is higher, when G is lower, and when the initial debt ratio is higher, and when the primary deficit is higher, what happens? There will be an increase in the ratio of debt to GDP ratio. So we have discussed these concepts: what is debt, what is the deficit, budget deficit, and what is debt, and what is the difference between these two. How do you work out the debt over time, and what happens to when the government decides to repay debt in the next period or in the 8th period. Then it definitely means that there has to be an increase in the tax rate in the economy. And what is the rate of tax that is charged? 1 plus R into T minus 2 if the debt is completely repaid at a point T. And then we discuss the debt stabilization. That is, if we have to keep the debt constant over the years, then it means that R into X must be the additional primary surplus that is created. That is, the surplus of taxes over government expenditure in a year must be able to pay what the interest rate on what debt up to the year up which you are finally winding out the debt. And then we have discussed the third one, that is the debt GDP ratio, where you find out what BT by YT minus BT minus 1 by YT minus 1, that is change in debt over the years, which becomes a function of R minus G. Additionally, we have the growth rate of output. When output is growing, we know that taxation, the taxable capacity of the government is also going to increase. So that increase in G will reduce the debt burden. So R minus G plus what the initial ratio of primary deficit to GDP. Okay, thank you so much.